Hi, I'm going to make a video just to repeat the idea of selecting items in case anyone is still confused, and maybe we go through it again a little bit at the beginning of next class and see how people get on. So to start this example, I'm just going to do a rectangular grid of 100 items, and then I'm just going to use numbers to select things on that. So rectangle. Yeah, it's rectangular, which is to make a rectangular grid. And I can use bifocals, which you don't need, but that will just put names above each of the commands. And I'm going to make 100, make each square 100. So that's the size of each square. And then here, I think it might be 99 rather than 100 because so it counts 0 as a number. So if I look at the output, oops, why is it so big? Yeah, sorry, I actually just want 9 in one way and 9 in the other way. And that results in, see there it says 100 locally defined values. So if I flatten that list, that means I just have a list of 100 points. So I'm going to do Control Q to get rid of that. And I can see by creating a point container, I can see the points, right? And rather than see the points, I'm going to use another command, point list, which will display a number. If I turn this off, Control Q, preview, and that just displays the number of the list, right? So if I move this up, I create this as a panel. I'm just going to make this all full, extend out the whole thing all the way to 100. So this is a list of 100 items from 0 to 99. So 100 items, including 0. And let's move this down a bit. Okay. And now if I create a cone on every single one of those points, I would just put all of these points in to create a cone. And I'm going to set size of each cone that gets created. Okay, that's fine. 25 and 100. So if I put a point container in there and I move this along, right? I can see this is 100 points. If I do the list item, that means I'm now selecting some points and not all points. In this case, I'm selecting the first point. Okay, I'm just lining things up. Okay. So because that's default to 0. And if I make slider to which point to select, if I move this really slowly, okay, it's just selecting the point. If I make panel, and always make panels to see what's going on inside each of your components, right? So this is selecting the 7th point, 0, 700, 0. And if I check my list, 7th one, 0, 700, 0. If I change this to 8 or 9, let's say, 0, 900, 0. I go to the 9th on the list, 0, 900, 0. It's just selecting whatever number goes into here, selecting that. If I put in 2 numbers and hold down Shift, and now 20, it's selecting 0, 900, 0 and 200, 0, 0 as the 9th item on the list, the 20th item on the list. Up here, 9th item on the list, 0, 900, 0. 20th item on the list, 200, 0, 0. It's just selecting those 2 points, and then on those 2 points is creating a cone. Everything that comes through here is going to create a cone. But it's more. It's just selecting more things on the list, right? There they are there. That's what it's selecting, because I can paneling. What am I selecting? You can even put a say number, and if I hold Control Shift, that will move to a number here. I put the number in here, and this in here. These are the numbers I'm selecting, right? I'm selecting 9, 20, 44, 52, and this is from that list what the 9th item is, the 20th item, 44th item, the 52nd. Okay. Now, separately, let's make a little corner here, and let's look at series, range. All right, I mean, kind of didn't get it to in class, but also look at, say, random. Okay. So random, if you hover over, what is the domain of the random numbers? How many random values should I select? And seed, right? So 99, given 100 numbers, including 0, is there. That's the range, right? 0 to 99, 100 numbers. How many numbers should I select randomly? Let's make that a slider. Select up to endless random number. Okay. Make a channel. What are these random numbers, right? Because it's selecting floating numbers, so I could just round all those numbers coming out of here. And now, these are the random numbers being selected. So, if I wanted to sort these numbers, I would just do sort list. And let's just use K for now. I'll explain that later, but just connect K to K, right? So now these numbers are sorted. And another command to remove the duplicates would be to create set. Again, don't worry about much about these components for now. This is just a way of sorting the numbers, right? So I'm selecting 15 random numbers. Now, because they're floats, and some of the floats will selected will be the same, it might actually select, like, let's say 10.2 and 10.3, and then it's just selecting 10 twice, and it will delete it. If I increase this number, I increase the amount of random numbers I will select. So if I move all this stuff down, okay, and I select these numbers, right? So I've deleted these 4 sliders, and now I'm just selecting these numbers, which are these numbers of the list, the first item on the list, the 3rd, the 11th, the 16th, the 22nd, and so on. And I change this. You can see that I'm adding to the amount of random numbers, right? And because it's rounding numbers from there, like 40.1 and 39.8 will round to the same number, and then it's just deleting the duplicate, which is why it's not selecting all of them. Seed, as a concept, just means it's going to change what random numbers it selects. So this is selecting the same number of random numbers, but it will just change what random numbers it will select. It's called a seed. For range, that will also result in floating numbers, so I'm going to round those numbers. and let's take this number and whatever numbers we create, let's move the sort list to sorry, one last here. Okay, so take whatever number we create, sort those numbers, and create a set which will remove any duplicate numbers, and then second, delete it wrong. The list that we're selecting needs to be the ones. Okay, so now I've adjusted this. So the list we're selecting is the points. Which numbers are we selecting? These ones here, right? So the domain, again, I want to select numbers between 0 and 99. I'm not going to change it, so I'm just going to make it panel 99. And how many numbers should I select, right? So let's make and it's right there. So because the numbers are going this way, right? This is let's look at the numbers that are coming out. This is selecting 0, 50, and 99. Kind of zoom in there and see that says 50. Let me just pan off these. Let's see the numbers right here. 0, 50, 99. Selecting 0, 50, and 99. Turn this up. And this is just dividing 100, 11 equal times. So 0, 9, 18, 27, 36, so on. Look here, selecting the point 0, 9, 18, so on. Now on the points that it selects, it's creating a code. And in series, I need a start number, how much I'm going to increase each time I step, and how many times I'm going to step. So we can make this 1, or we can do it as 0 to start off. Okay, so I replaced. Now I'm just selecting 0, and I'm selecting 0 all of these times, 11 times. And then it's sorting out the zeros and then creating a set. So it's only 1, 0. Okay. If I make this 1, now it's stepping 1 with every iteration, and this is how many times it's stepping, right? So you read this list of numbers, right? This list of numbers is going from 0, the start point is 0, moving up 1 each time, and it's going to do that 40 times. It's going to move to 39, 0 to 39. And it's just selecting from the list the 0, the 1, the 2, 3, all the way to 39. And then on those points, 0 to 39, creating a cone. Now, if I move this to 2, now the numbers are going up in 2s. If I move this to 3, this is the step going up in 3s. One of the issues of this is that it's going up to 117 now. And if I move the step to, say, 10, now the numbers are going up to 390. So how can I set that, like, keep going up, but don't go up higher than 100, right? One way is in this list item, this is wrap list. Here at the bottom, which is set as a Boolean value set to true. That means that when you get to the end of the list, go back to the beginning and keep going, right? So that means 101 is going to go, let's say 99 is the end of the list. So 100 is 0, 101 is 1, and so on. It's just going to wrap, right? So if I turn off wrapping, there, set Boolean false. That means it's no longer going to wrap. This is going to be saying that some of the indexes are too high, as in they're beyond the 0 to 99, which is fine. Another way of doing it, possibly, is to choose the minimum of two numbers, right? So that means of all of these numbers, make sure they're not bigger than 99. Actually, just in case it makes 99 a few times, I'm going to actually put that before this set. Yeah, so that creates 40 numbers between 0 and 99. And before that, we had 40 numbers between 0 and 390. So it's just deleted. Yeah, and if I open this up, you can see that it's choosing, if the number here is bigger than 99, it's choosing a 99, which is why at the end of the list, it's replacing so many 99s here, because it's like 200 or 99, 99 is smaller. 300 or 99, 99 is smaller. 399 or 99, 99 is smaller. It's just so when we remove the duplicate numbers with the create set, we end up with 11 numbers. And there's our numbers. Select those numbers, and that's what we get. And all of this here is just about selecting numbers. And on one of your problems, you kind of had the equivalent of, let's say if we get rid of these safeguards and just hit these numbers in directly. So I'm getting rid of the sort of what is removing duplicates, and leave wrap on, which is another kind of safeguard. Let me just staying on my other screen. Okay. So if I connect this list and this list and this list and this list number and this number and this number and this number, and then I read what numbers are giving, it's just selecting all of these numbers quite randomly. And if I, let's say, bring this up the whole way, I'm like, why is it selecting all the numbers? And the answer is because I'm supplying the numbers as all this, all this, all this, and it's just giving me every single number imaginable. And then from this set of numbers, it's picking these numbers on the list, which is pretty much everything. And you can kind of see the darkness of the red over 0, 10, 20. That means it's picking, and you can kind of see different ones. That means it's picking that number twice or 3 times, because I've turned off these sort of safeguards not to pick the same numbers twice. And that's kind of what we covered in class. One extra thing that I'll just add to next week, I'll just add it here because what I was going to go on to next is dispatch. And dispatch is a bit of a different way of doing things to list item, but that is where if I take my list of numbers, I put that to dispatch. And here this is currently set to true false, right? So I replace this here. So now I've turned off my list item, and I'm just using dispatch instead. And true false means it's going to go through the list and just go true false, true false, true false, true false, and select what the trues on A and the falses on B. If I was to create a list and do true, true, false, I connect that there, I get an error because this is currently not in multi-line, but I need to turn this to multi-line. And that means it's now a list where it's 0, 1, 2, and not just random text. But that means now it's going here, true, true, false, true, true, false, true, true, false, true, true, false, and so on, through the whole list. If I wanted to, I can also, rather than use true, false, use 1, 1, 0 would be the exact same thing as true, false, true, false, true, false. So if I was to do series and create two series, right? I'm going to have the start point as 1 on one of them and the start point as 0 on another one. And step size, I want it to be 0 on both. So set number 0. So this is start 0, step 0. This is start 1, step 0. And then I'm going to put 10 point sliders on both accounts. And then I'm just going to combine these two and look at that in a panel. Okay. So this is going to basically repeat with no increase in the step as 0 6 times, and then this is going to repeat a 1 10 times, right? In that sense, I can control this pattern of zeros and ones and how many zeros and ones I want with these set of numbers. And this is a pattern. But the difference between the list item and this is this pattern will just repeat until it gets to the end of the list. So if I take these numbers and I give them as the list, I'm deleting the 110 and I'm using this pattern. And I look at how I can change. So if I select this as 1 and 1, it should be every single second 1, right? Every 2, it should select every second, right? So 0 0 1 1, right? In that sense, I can play around with patterns of selection with how I select items across 100 things in a list by just giving this numerical pattern as the dispatch pattern to select the points, and then after I get my pattern of points, the trade count. And whether it's the list item way of selecting things or the dispatch way of selecting things, it's still just using numbers to select geometry in an ordered list and then do things to the things that you select, right? For, in this case, the dispatch pattern versus the non-dispatch pattern. All right, so I'll cover this a little bit again at the beginning of the next lecture, or maybe do the whole lecture on it. But if you watch it here, I think you'll become more comfortable with this because it's sort of a very important basic principle behind how you take lists of data and select things from them. All right, see you next week.